And yes, that's what I've tried to cover almost. And I also tried to take few questions here, which we got as preset questions. I'm not touching the basic questions about what is QS, understanding of QS, what do a QS work. All this I've tried to answer in this entire deck. And what steps should a fresher take to begin their career in QS. I've told you the first thing is, if possible, if you are interested, try to spend a couple of years as a site engineer, or maybe at least 1 year. Develop your conceptualization skills. That is going to be very important. The first step which you need to take is that. And maybe if you're not interested, just try to join as an intern somewhere. Try to know about an organization, how do they work on quantity takeoff, what are the rules and regulations existing in that. So even if you work as a QS straight away in an office, you still have to open your eyes for opportunities to go for site visits, because only then you will understand the core construction challenges, which is going to be very helpful in terms of your rate analysis, in terms of assisting value engineering, etc., etc. So the first step is start from either site or start as an intern, or look for opportunities where you can start with billing, you can start with takeoffs, you can start with estimates. So these are the first steps which you can probably look after. What career opportunities are available in QS in the civil engineering industry? So that's what I've told you. I've told you about you can career opportunities in the sense you can start as a QS estimation engineer. You can be as a planning engineer. You can be as a procurement engineer. You can be as someone as a cost manager to lead the entire financial responsibilities of the project. You can go for dispute resolution. You can there are multiple other avenues which we can keep thinking about it. There are multiple other opportunities within construction industries which you can keep thinking about it. You can also, these days I can see a lot of people going for sustainability and ESG is also people who have civil engineering background, QS expertise, try to contribute in sustainability side as well. So these are the career opportunities what a QS could probably think of. Can a project engineer transit into a QS role? If yes, what are the steps? Of course, I myself a project engineer. I've been a project and planning engineer when I was working in the early days of my career with L&T, and then I've started to transition my role towards QS. What are the steps to do? First thing is, when you're in planning, when you're in project engineer, you may be more towards the schedule and the program side of the project. You need to understand those, get those expertise, and start to see how the billing cycle works in a project, how a billing is made, how a budget is prepared, so that how a tender event schedule is brought down, how a budget is made across design stages, and how does a QS close a final account stage, how the certain conditions of contracts are formed. All this data will be available if you are a project engineer, and all you have to do is just spend some time to look at those data, understand the perspective of why these things are, and then slowly start to penetrate into those activities and understand the process of how those activities are functioning, understand the nuances of it. That's the first step what you need to do if you wanted to transition from a project engineer role to a QS role. What are the future career prospects for a QS professional in the construction industry? I've told you about there is something called as lidar technology, where you can just take a site survey. We can use that for measuring. Sitting in an office, you can just measure what is there at site, whether an item is existing or not. All this can be done at site. And as I have also told about sustainability and ESG, which is also futuristic. There are digital twin, there are 3D printing, BIM integrated technologies. So these are the future opportunities where a QS can work. Keeping in mind, when I say future, I'm speaking about technology integrated opportunities. And can a career in QS be financially rewarding? How can QS professionals increase their earnings in this field? Of course, any career can be financially rewarding. There's no question about that. In order to make it financially rewarding, this is also related to the second part of the questions. How can we increase their earnings in this field? So as I've told you, the thumb rule is very simple. I have also seen a lot of youngsters in the CE Connect group. I specifically wanted to mention this here. Um, you know, Conceptually, there are people who get well paid compared to a fresher who is coming into an industry, who may still be a fresher. There are people who get well paid and there are people who starts to comment about their job nature. No, don't do that first of all, because there are people who are doing the same job for 8,500 rupees, 12,500 rupees in the industry, and you are getting well paid. You may represent a brand. The thing is, like, do not bring that and spoil that. Every industry has its own negatives. I'm telling you, after spending a decade in this industry, I know people who are working in IT industry. I know the level of stress which they go through. They are paid well. No, that is not going to help them in terms of attaining a stress. And I've told you very clearly, our industry is something where we are a people dominant industry. I'm not sure whether you're aware of this fact. Construction is the second largest employment generating industry in the entire India. You know what is the first largest industry? It's agriculture. Second is construction. So imagine the lot of unprofessional expertise which comes into this industry. There will be a lot of laborers. There will be a lot of people who have gained construction knowledge without any degree, or they might have done some certain undergraduation programs, or not even some undergraduation program, might be some diplomas who may be in a different place than you. The the ability of you is going to be a question in terms of earning your money. It's not the industry. There are people who are earning a lot of amount. There are people who are not able to earn a lot of amount, and they are all into the same industry. What do you comment about that? What is wrong in that? Is that an industry which is wrong, or is it a people which is wrong? Understand one thing very clearly. Our industry is driven by people. When anything is driven by people, you cannot expect people to behave in the way you like. All you have to do is you have to create the diplomatic skills, you have to create that interpersonal skills to go into that, get what you want, build your career, earn your income. So this is one side of the story. The other side of the story is, what are you going to do something new? That is what is going to help you understand about getting, or put in a place where you can demand more salary. There is no point if a QS is sitting for almost 5 years in measurements and still complain the industry is not paying. No, that is not industry's mistake. That is your mistake. What is the skill sets you have developed in terms of the last 5 years? You have started with measurement. Why are you still doing measurement? What are the other avenues of have you explored? Have you been into contract sites? Have you been into rate site? I know I have seen people who do only measurements, who have not even seen rate part of it or budget part of it, almost like half of their career. So if those are the cases with you, how do you expect money to come to you? You have that adaptability to take risk, come out of your comfort zone. I know I'm giving a little bit of motivation here, out of context, but still it is mandatory, so I'm giving you that. Come out of your comfort zone, go beyond that and explore, at least during the initial part of the career. Comfort zone is very dangerous, and I'm telling you, I'm not meaning about work life balance, which is entirely different, of course. That is not comfort zone. Comfort zone means I wanted everything in the place which I want. I'm not ready to relocate. I'm not ready to go to site. I'm not ready to engage with multiple people. I'm not going to work post 6 o'clock. No, that is not going to be there. You need to do that whenever there is a requirement. Again, if you keep it as a habit, your work life balance is going to disturb. I'm not coming into that. But whenever there is a requirement, if you have that flexibility to come out of the comfort zone and support an organization, support a team, support a project, then money will come to you automatically. And out of all that, what value have you gained and what value you can offer? How good are you in terms of adapting to new technologies? How good are you in terms of adapting newer things which is coming into the market? How good are you in terms of bringing something new to the project, bringing or collectively contributing your expertise into the project? And end of all this, how good are you able to communicate all this? There are people who does all this, but they don't communicate within their internal organization, or they will not be in a position to comfortably or confidently speak about this in an interview and to seek for a salary. Any market will have its own restrictions, be it construction, be it IT, be it infra, be it pharma, whatever. Any market will have its own restrictions. And people who understood the detailing of those market are those people who can ask for a better salary, and salary will come to you. I know I have little elaborated this question because I feel this is very important question. That's why I took a little time to explain this. I'll go to the next question now. Is pursuing a certification or training from organizations like RICS beneficial for QS professional? If so, why? Yes, of course, it is going to be highly beneficial. The reason is like RICS is an organization who sort of conceptualized and sort of standardized this entire QS industry. So without their contribution, we do not might not have had all this flexibility of getting the standards in place, doing controlled measurements in place, doing a fair payment in place. All this would have been not possible without organizations like RICS. There are other organizations as well, but still. So doing any certification, being part of them is going to be valuable to you, because you are part of a community now. When you be part of RICS network, you're part of a community where fellow QS people are available. So what happens when you are part of community? You get to understand about trends. You get to understand about people, what what work they do and how do they do. When you ask this, you will understand how different are they from you, or how different are you from them. So this is when you get this expertise. This is when you get to understand about multiple operations existing in different regions, different localities, or different projects. So of course it's a community which is going to help you in terms of a lot of insights, trends, and these are also people who step in terms of havocs. For example, COVID happened. Nobody knew how to give COVID claims. RACS came with a lot of sessions and trainings to help quantity surveys understand, because that was the first time we are all facing a COVID-related situation. Project is not happening. Milestones keep missing. You need to, whether you need to make payment or not. Is that a question? So how to govern them, how to regulate them, how to put things in place, how to control and keep things fairly. RACS, institutes like RACS came up with a lot of such training. So these are things which you can actually take from them. And the next question is, how do responsibilities and salaries differ between entry level, mid level, senior level QS? Yes, it's actually a good question. So as an entry level, as I've told you, most of the organization would want to start you with measurements, with quantification. That is going to be the basics, because I'll also tell you why it is important. When you start with quantification, you get opportunities to work with drawings. When you get opportunity to work with drawing, you also understand, you increase your conceptualization ability. You understood, you have the capacity to understood multiple versions of a drawing, multiple revisions of a drawing. You also see how a drawing is evolving across design stages. This is the very basic skill which somebody requires. So any entry level QS would likely be placed in this setup as job, and slowly they'll be given with a higher responsibility. When they transfer as a mid-level manager, they'll be given responsibilities to work with rates, budgets, tender reviews, contractual condition reviews, or maybe part of tender floating and techno-commercial discussions also. Uh, so mostly mid-level managers would not govern or drive all this, but they'll be part of all this, where they can understand how a driving process is happening, what are the different stakeholders' expectation, how do a manager or a senior manager tackle all those situations, gaining those experience, documenting that. It's more or less like you need to manage your junior level team for quantities, you need to manage your senior manager in terms of getting the expectation done, and then you need to bridge that. You have to take the quantity, put ruts in place, understand the discussions, understand how the project is capitalized, and then bring everything into one portfolio and then present it to the manager who will drive that process entirely. So a senior manager responsibility is basically, I'm saying that I'm considering senior as a topmost manager here. Their responsibility is to drive the entire cost management process smoothly, to ensure that the client's expectation is met, to ensure there is no conflict happening in the project, to ensure his team is also performing rightly well, to ensure his junior level front end managers are also getting the work equally distributed, their work is recognized. So this is exactly how the job roles and responsibilities would vary. And coming to the salaries bit again, I'm not sure about how I cannot say how every organization would pay, but ideally, there are organizations who start to pay around 12,500, who are like contract level organizations, or mid level, or a MSME level organizations who would pay at least 12.5K per month, which is the base salary. I know it's very less beyond the minimum wage, but forget about that. And any MNC companies would ideally pay you at least 20,000 rupees, as your monthly offer for an entry level. And when you say mid level, again, like it's all depends on your skill sets you're offering. There are people who get up to 6 lakhs. There are people who get up to 14 lakhs, 15 lakhs. Also, it depends on their expertise. Some might have done various other certifications. Some might have improved their capabilities. Some might have improved their expertise into multiple domains of QS and cost management. So those are people who are likely to get high pay. People who are comfortable, who are easy with just measurements. I'm okay getting settled. Around 4 to 5 lakhs or up to 6 lakhs is the basic range of them. And senior level QS, it may start around 13, 14 lakhs. Again, this varies from organization, project, expertise. Is a very vague question actually, because you don't know who is a senior, what is the definition for a senior, what skill sets should he have or they have. So without skill sets also, there may be some people who will be designated as senior managers. With extreme skill sets also, there may be some people who will be designated as mid-level managers. So it's highly varying question. Again, like a senior QS can imagine something more than around 15 lakhs, I would say, if he is quite good. I'm saying more than 15. There is a potential to go up to huge numbers also. Again, it depends on the skill sets which you bring in. the ability to communicate what you have done to your organization, the ability to execute and manage the project. All this matters a lot in terms of getting a high pay. Yeah. What essential knowledge should a QS professional acquire in the first 5 years in the field? As I've told you, please start your, get a proper understanding of the site dynamics first thing, how a construction will happen, how an activity will be executed, what are the nuances involved in it. I've told you about the tile laying examples, right? So if you have that example, if you're able to do that, those are the first things which I would require. Then develop your interpersonal skills, and try to work with multiple stakeholders, understand the process related things. And the first and foremost thing which I would like to say is try to understand and do things in a systemized way. Just don't ask to a contractor if he says 200 rupees per square feet is the rate for painting. Just don't do 200. Try to systemize that, try to break that down. So if you have that ability, cultivate that ability within first 5 years, that is what is going to help you in terms of the next 5 years or the next future of your career. So the essential knowledge which you need to acquire is eye for detail. I would like to close it in that way. Anything and everything what you get, develop that eye for detail, go in detail, try to get as much as you can. That's what is going to be the most important thing. And how can a QS professional improve their speed and efficiency in Excel when managing large data sets and creating reports? See, this is, don't worry about it. Have your ability to understand. These days, all kids are using smartphones. You guys are better than boomers or early 90 kids. You guys are better than that. So don't worry about all that. The only thing is like don't feel comfortable to work with computers and Excel. That's it. So whatever the resource you need, suppose if you want a mouse and a keyboard, try to use an external keyboard and a mouse, because all these are hardwares which is going to help you hugely in terms of increasing your speed and efficiency. So there is a difference between working comfortably and working like this. It controls your speed. So feel comfortable about it. And again, like, efficiency is not a problem. The moment you work along with your immediate managers or reporting managers, you will get to know that. Or when you work along with fellow juniors, they are going to do something new. You are going to learn from them. So keep open to learn things. If somebody comes and corrects you, don't feel sad about it. Try to sit like a baby and understand what is their comment, and accept if there is something which you could improve it. That is all you need to do there. And once you get into a project, once you get into an organization, all this will get onboarded to you automatically. As I said, just be open to receive comments, just be open to use resources. That's what most important is. What are the advanced takeoff software tools that international companies prefer for QS tasks? Uh, Most of the companies predominantly use Costix. I hope certain parts of UAE would also use Candy, PlanSwift, etc. So these are the tools. Again, like BIM is also coming. Again, it's related to Revit and things like that. So I would, if I cannot rank it, but I would say the top three means Candy, Costix, Candy, and PlanSwift. These are the things which I would say for quantification tasks. How can a QS use advanced Excel technique, calculate and manage roadwork quantities for different layers? It's simple. I've told you as it is. These are things like whenever you present a quantity takeoff sheet, try to see from a layman's perspective. How easy is it for your manager to understand? If you crack that, it is going to be easy. That's it. You may not show an entire measurement sheet to them. How to create a summary of that and then give it to them. How to create the key items list, maybe ascending or descending. How to create a dashboard out of that and present that. So these are some of the basic techniques, I would say. These are not the advanced techniques. These are the basic techniques, I would say, which will help you to measure anything and answer it. It doesn't matter whether it's road work or civil work. It's all going to be the same. As I told, the nutshell, have a detailed measurement sheet, create a summary sheet, try to also evolve that into a dashboard level of sheet, which gives a quick understanding to your managers. If you do that, it's going to be easy for anyone. That's it. Which international codes and standards should a QS professional focus on to ensure global relevance? Try to understand about there is something called as ICMS, International Cost Management Standards, published by RICS. So that is the most recent standard available till date. And try to explore about NRM, New Rule of Measurement. There are 3 books of NRM, just NRM 1, 2, 3. It will be used for different purposes. We'll discuss that in a separate forum. And when it's specific to India, IS 1200, and the measurement codes for rebar is slightly different. So these are the codes I would suggest you to start with for that. And now I would like to open this for any queries or questions right now. I hope I have not bored any one of you. I've tried to do justice for this topic. It's a huge topic, and I'm very sure you cannot complete everything in 1.5 hours time. However, luckily I'm on time. Yeah. So would like anybody would like to ask something, please, it's the forum to ask now. Satish, could you also check on the chat box if any question is there?
Yes, sir. Someone asked about thing we told to discuss this in the end of the session. It is someone asked about how the SOR and DSR is used in the BOQ.
Schedule of
Rajiv.
rates, and I don't know what is DSR. Uh, it depends. The terminology usually differs from place to place, companies to company. SOR means schedule of rates. Schedule of rate is nothing but once a rate analysis is done, you prepare a schedule. Once you have a schedule of rate for any region, it's quick. The item is there. Search the schedule of rate. What is the rate which is agreed? Just pull it into there. Some organizations like client organization use this SOR for governing their rates for the entire for a certain duration. So they may agree on a rate. They may agree with the vendor. These are the rates which is available for the next 3 years. So whatever the item which is there in this rate, you have to put the same rate so that that they'll save a lot of time in terms of doing value engineering, etc. They can straight away go with PO instead of doing a lot of checks and balances. So that's what a schedule of rate is. And of course, as for a BOQ, in a way, it is used like if you have schedule of rate, any item in the BOQ when it comes, just check with the schedule of rates, check the configuration, just put it across, and close the pricing as quick as you can. That's where it helps in a BOQ.
Sir, one more question about this NICMAR, sir. Is pursuing QS and NICMAR is valid?
It's a good question. It's very difficult to answer in an open forum like this, but still, um, see, I would say it doesn't matter with NICMAR. It doesn't matter with RACS also has certain 2-year courses in this thing. Of course, it's valuable for the structure of course which they have developed over time. They may give a better perspective of what it is than compared to an XY nameless institute. It is obviously better, but I would say keep the benefit of the course aside. How much you can leverage out of it is the question here. So there is no point a candidate who's sitting in Amit University doing RACS, QS, and construction economic course who doesn't have that ability or mentorship to take the leverage out of it. There's no benefit in doing such courses. So of course these courses are having high reputation. These courses has high value into it, but it's a matter of the QS. It's a matter of the individual to leverage that as much as they can. Yeah.
Sir, Nandakumar has a question. How can a fresher survive without senior quantity surveyor directly interaction with project manager?
See, it doesn't matter if you don't have a senior QS around you. If you have been directly put as a QS and you have to interact with the project manager, there must be someone from your organization who governs the QS side. Just understand from them what is the thumb rule of the project. Any project will have its own objective. Just understand about the objective. Without that, you cannot deliver what is expected out of you, and also understand like what is the expectation out of you. This is from your company side as well as from the project side. So if you're a fresher, you wanted to go to the project manager and you don't know, you're clueless, just understand what is the expectation out of you in a project. And you have to come down and ask like what you have to come down and brainstorm like how you have to meet up those expectations, what areas you don't know, categorize that, try to reach out to professionals outside, try to reach out to experts inside your organization. And that is the ideal way to start with. Ideally, it's not advisable to put a fresher directly into a PM. It may backfire the PM also. It may backfire the project also as well as the client candidate also. But these are the things what you can potentially think of.
Sir, I have a question. Generally, when we come and we are from the civil background, when we get into the drawings itself, we get the MEP drawings,
Correct.
which estimation makes that it means it will be very difficult to understand the MEP.
Correct.
How to tackle this for a fresher or else after at the mid level also?
Yeah. See, it's actually a real time problem. See, one thing is this is where you have to come out of your you have to think a little wide. These days ChatGPT is available, right? For example, you see there is a panel of certain things are given in your drawing and you have no clue what is a panel. Just go to ChatGPT and ask what is a panel, and then you just see a panel. Just sit like a baby and try to understand what the drawing is communicating to you, because MEP drawings are one of the easiest drawings to understand, because it doesn't have multiple cross section, multiple views, multiple elevations, top view, side views. This nothing is there. You can easily crack it from a plan surface view itself. But why do you find it difficult is you see a lot of legends, lot of denominations, lot of colors involved in it. So it's like it's a perception that, oh my god, this is so complex. No, it's not like that. Grab a coffee, sit along with that, put it in a bigger monitor, zoom the drawing, start from one line, start from one activity, just finish that, start to end. It's simple. You can able to understand that. So there will be a lot of terminologies like kV, ampere, panel, switch box, gearbox, bus bars, etc. It's nothing complicated. These days you have ChatGPT, Google, just put it across, because these are the theoretical definitions, which a ChatGPT cannot give a definition, wrong definition for a bus bar. These are theoretical definitions. It is going to give you 100% right result only. Okay, so understand that, and then you just take that understanding, try to map it with your drawing. It's simple. You are cracking it. You will be able to do it. MEP is challenging only when in terms of technology, because there are a lot of technology which evolves in MEP. But again, like, you won't be forced to do everything by your own. That basic tech understanding, if you develop, that's going to help you a lot.
Yes. Sir, Madhunisha has a question. After taking quantities, how to check that our quantities are correct or not? Basic thumb rules that quantity surveyor should know to improve their results.
Yeah. See, it is like two ways to approach this. Either your organization should have a thumb rule. If it is there, please take that, put it across and try to do that sanity checks. If it is not there, what you can do is, you are working in 3 projects, for example. What is your understanding of all those 3 projects? So when I was a QS, I had the same difficulty. We were doing a 4-story, 112 apartment building in Chennai, and we were doing another project parallelly. I was very much unsure whether the quantities are right or wrong. So what I've done is, this 112 building was completed by the time I was starting the new project. I just simply took those projects data. I divided everything with their built-up area. I understood what is the range of quantities for all the item it is coming, and then I tried to map that with my workings on the new projects quantities. Of course, there were differences. And then when I understood why the difference is happening, comparing that project configuration to this project configuration, it was logical for me. Okay, in that project there was no retaining wall, because of which concrete quantity was lesser. In this project, the retaining wall is there, because of that concrete quantity is slightly higher. Now my difference is justified here. I might have got X as a coefficient there, Y as a coefficient here. The difference is justified because of this retaining wall. Now, how to justify that? Just take the plane area, P lane of retaining wall. You know the height, put a standard thickness, check whether the difference is justifying to that quantity or not. It's simple. You've already done it. So either you can take your organization benchmarks, or you develop your own benchmarks. And again, on top of that, you can also see multiple sensible checkings, like, for example, like, your painting area should match to your plastering area. You multiply your wall area, it should match to your painting area. Wall area multiplied by 2, it has to be your painting area, right? Your shuttering area should almost match to your painting area. It won't be apple to apple because of certain reasons, but if it is in range, you can see whether you have done any blunder or not, that you can at least pick it up. So these are some of the examples which I can quickly think of. And this is something which any QA should have its own his own handbook of things for these coefficients to check.
Sir, Imraz Ahmed has a question. Which software do you recommend? Candy, Costex, or BIM?
The first thing I would like to calculate is, BIM is not a software. BIM is a it's a how can I put that? It's an environment. BIM is an environment. So this environment can be built on any multiple softwares. So Revit is something which recognizes BIM. Okay. I'm not sure about Candy, but Costex is also which can recognize a certain level of BIM related inputs. 3D related inputs can be understood in Costex. My recommendation is Costex for Indian context, because most of the clients and contractors in India prefer Costex. Yeah.
And when I had a question, I had a career gap in my studies. Now I want to explore construction industry. Is it possible for a student to get an internship in quantity survey?
Career gap in my studies. Now I want to explore construction. I hope what he means is his career gap in construction. If that is the case, see, it's very difficult for anyone to get into a bigger organization without their course is completed. He has not mentioned whether this course is completed or not. So if it is not completed, better try to complete the course. The course completion certificate is mandatory. If not, it is going to be challenging to step up into any industries.
And Praneeth also has a question. In expenditure cost, we will have travel expenses, salary expenses, labor shed, construction, like examples, can be included for BOQ.
So this will typically be part of a BOQ, but will not be part of a line item. So these expenses, as again, will be calculated in multiple ways. It could either be loaded to your overhead costs or cost, or it can either be loaded into certain other cost heads, depending on the project's nature. And this will be mentioned whether you have to include what and all as part of your preambles. So these are general. I would I'm just putting a simple language here. These are general understanding about a project before pricing. So these will be part of your preambles, and there will be multiple meetings, pre-bid meeting, etc., where you can get this understood very well for a project. I'm saying this because this information will vary from project to project and from client to client. So I cannot say one rule for this. The best thing is to understand this from the preambles of the project, if it is mentioned or not. Then check other contract documents if it is mentioned or not. If it is not mentioned in both of it, better to raise a query to the client, better to have a pre-bid meeting with the client before you price it and understand all these details, so that your client can instruct you, we want you to consider, we are providing you. That clarity will be attained.
Next, Nikhil is asking to elaborate about green certifications like
Okay.
LEED.
So the green certification, when it comes, it currently speaks about the sustainability performance of a building. So that is what this green certifications, in a nutshell, means about. So there are something called as LEED. I think it's governed by USGBC again. Uh, in India, we have IGBC, Green Building in India, Green Building Council. So who give certifications for a building based on the type of material used in it, type of equipments used in it, how good is their construction practices, what type of construction methodology they follow. So there are multiple categories towards it. It's a whole new world. I'm just trying to give a brief of it. So considering all that, a building will be certified as platinum, gold, silver, which has certain ratings to it, which has certain performance goals to it. So when a building is considered to be gold, for example, it is expected to be in certain scoring, and it is expected to give certain perform within certain parameters. So this is how this green certification things will usually work around. Yeah.
So, do we have future in interior designing?
Where I'm not sure whether this question for taking out the quantities is asking. Yes, yes, of course, there is a huge potential. See, as I told you, you can either work with a client or a design consultant also. Suppose there is an architect. These days, an architect, sometimes it is the responsibility of the architects to provide the BOQs. In such cases, the architects eventually has to depend on the BOQs. Quantity surveys who can estimate quantities, prepare BOQs, which will go out in the architect's name. That's it. They will have their own in-house QS team. So yes, there is a potential. And I would like to say something here, like when this point interior designing message came up, guys, please look out in a broader perspective. There are interior design, uh, you know, which don't restrict. When we speak about interior, don't restrict with only residential design, which is very small area. And you cannot scale up your career. You cannot aim for a bigger salary in it. Try to go for commercial interiors, retail interiors, institutional interiors, hospital interiors, etc. Don't try to restrict yourself in smaller residential buildings. Go for bigger buildings, go for bigger projects.
So yesterday someone from community also asked about this remote jobs in quantity surveying. What insights about this, sir?
Remote jobs. Yes, I think if my understanding is right, this question is related to people who are sitting in India doing a quantity surveying job for abroad countries like USA or some Western countries, right? See, as long as you are getting paid well, as long as you are comfortable in that job, as long as it did not question about your career's progress, it's okay to do that. There are certain jobs in abroad countries which if you spend long term of your career, you may later find it out difficult to come and learn new practices here in India. Maybe in case you wanted to work back to Indian region. So their operations, for example, in US, their entire measurement practices are different. They won't do measurements in square meters. They will do in yards. and in completely different these things. So how well you are able to adapt from those to here is the matter. If you ask me, it's okay to work for those if you are adaptable enough to change your ability to learn at any point of time. Yeah.
And what is the lifespan of PEB building, and is it preferable technology in India? What's your opinion?
See, PEB building, pre-engineered building, typically refers to an 80% steel building only. The lifespan of a steel building, say any building, I don't know, the defined design life is around 70 years, 60 to 70 years is the design life for any building. It is a preferred technology in India. Yes, it is a preferred technology in India, uh, but not for all scale of projects. Uh, you the technology is preferred. The problem in PEB is like you should have clients as well as vendors who are clients. Leave the clients aside. You should have the vendors who understand the technology very clearly. Uh, you know, because this is something where the planning has to be perfect. You know, uh, the the nuances of working out your shop drawing, getting that welded, cut, weld, and installed at your work shed, and then you are bringing it and installing it. So if a company is having a steady process related approach on those sides, and they have right talent, skilled workmanship towards that, yes, of course, it's not going to stop. But currently, I feel like these technologies, there are the number of players who play in this PEB technologies are slightly lesser compared to traditional concrete based construction methodology. That is why it is taking a little time to take stream. But eventually, I would obviously see this would be, you can see a lot of buildings happening in steel structures down the line. It has already started take place in Hyderabad. Yeah.
Sir, where we can learn Costex software?
See, if you do not want to pay, you can learn from YouTube. If you wanted to pay, there are solutions like one people whom I know is Infinity PMC Solutions, who are the authorized sellers of Costex in India. They also provide training courses. But when I say that, when you take a training, you make sure you have a live project example to do and learn those trainings. There is no point of having those trainings and you don't have anything hands-on to work and see how the result is coming. If not, it's going to be helpful to you. You will forget it maybe after 1 month also. So please check these things. If required, you can ask in the group. You can, Madhunisha, who has asked it, can reach out to me through the community. I can help you out with more contacts of places where it can be learned.
Is AI revolution is taking the future in civil engineering?
Okay, it's a good question. A revolution is not taken place, but a penetration has already started to take place. It takes a little bit of time for the revolution to take place because our market is huge and it is mostly filled with people of limited expertise. It takes time for them to open their eyes and bring back these technologies or integrate these technologies part of their processes and works. That is going to take a little time, but I would say the penetration has already started.
Where can we get commercial quantity survey experience, as there are only residential quantity survey courses only available?
I feel little surprised to see this approach from many youngsters. Um, Maybe this is where a lot of institutions who offer courses also make a lot of money. I think somehow all this. I mean, most of the freshers are programmed it in such a way like you have to do a course and then you have to go to a job. No, don't do that. Just you have done your engineering, which is more than enough. If you're enough to survive, if you're enough to take the learning through work, that is more than enough. You can do a course for for 2 months or 3 months for basic understanding of who can take you to site, who can take you construction practices. Those type of courses are valuable. QS courses, how are they going to teach you QS courses? They're going to show some basic sample drawings. They're going to let you measure from the sample drawing. That is not going to help you because the drawing which you're actually going to go and see in your job is going to be entirely different from what you have seen during the course. You have to eventually relearn everything in your job. So better try for opportunities where there are freshers opening available, internship opportunities available in an organization. Try to partner with such organizations and learn from them. That is the ideal way to learn commercial QS experience, and not through courses eventually.
Sir, Imraz Ahmed is asking to give your introduction and your LinkedIn profile.
I have
Yes.
already given my introduction.
Yes,
LinkedIn profile, I think Satish, you can go.
we will provide it, sir. Any further questions? Anyone can please ask. You can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. I think there were no questions, sir. So I request
Yeah,
everyone
sir.
to turn on your cameras.
Someone is speaking in the background, I can hear.
No, I am only speaking, sir.
Oh, Vinay, yeah, okay.
Ah.
Yeah, go ahead, Satish. Yeah.
I request everyone to on your cameras, so we will have a snapshot and then we can have the conversation.
What are the skills required for a QS to work with Anbu sir team? There's a question from Madhunisha. It's an interesting question. I'll have an interview with that for that.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
My name is Sai Krishna. I'm working as a GET in Apana Construction Hyderabad.
Sai, I can't hear you properly. Can you be a little louder?
Okay. 1 minute, sir. So, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
My name is Sai Krishna. I'm working as GET in Apana Construction Hyderabad, and I want to shift to the QS side. So, you said about to learn challenges in construction sector, right? I mean, can you specific about those challenges? And what kind of challenges should I learn from inside?
What is your current role?
I'm GET, sir, Graduate Engineer Training in Apana Constructions.
Okay, okay. And your question is, what is the challenges in construction you're asking, or the challenges to transfer to QS you are asking?
Challenges to transfer to QS.
Okay. See, it's not challenges for you because you are just entering into the construction industry as a GET. So whatever you learn, it is going to be new and it's going to be learning for you. So I would say like the few things which you need to focus is basically, are you deployed at site or office?
I am deployed at site, sir.
Good. If you're deployed at site, try to see the productivity ratios of labors, how much a team of work is doing in execution, what is the volume of concrete a specific team of work is doing in a day. What is the plastering a team does in a day. So these are productivity ratios. That is something which is very important for a QS. So try to understand those. You have to go to the site, put a timeline, measure it once the day is over, understand and divide it with the number of people. You will come to know each mason's productivity for that range. Now take that out and try to compare with the PWD productivity ratios. You will understand the differences, why it is huge. And next time when you go to that, this is related to productivity things, and also try to see the work orders and POs if it is accessible to you, or the bill of quantities without rates at least. So see that what is specified in an activity. I've told you about, if you're throughout the webinar, you would have seen the tile example I have given you. So it includes all such factors into it. Is that being done for that activity or not? And then this is one thing which you can see on the documentation. And second thing is also see how a contractor is putting up his billings. There are like few things which, a tile, I'll come to the same example since we have touched about it. Material will be supplied, installation would have not done. Okay. How will you create or issue those bills? You don't need to be calculative. The contractor themselves would have found a solution. It's easy for you to just see the solution, whether it is logical or not, whether it is acceptable or not. If it is not acceptable, why? If it is acceptable, why? Try to decode these logics at a personal level. And I would suggest that these are the areas which you need to focus on to start with. Anything beyond this may complicate your understanding. So I'll restrict with this.
Thank you, sir. Can you explain about the productivity ratio?
So productivity ratio is basically if any labor should have a certain standard of work to be done within 8 hours or 10 hours of time. Okay, 8 hours of time ideally. So if a team of laborers are there, how are they deployed? What are the tools they use? Suppose I'll come to the tile example. So transporting and going to the work front of a tile, mixing up a mortar requires certain time, and then they need to cut the tile, lay the tile, and then they'll take a lunch break. They'll come and start the activity post lunch break also. So this 8 hour span of time, how much is the quantity of the work they've done? You can just measure it from the drawing. You can just see if they've done 2-3 rooms or 2-3 blocks. You can measure that from your drawing and see maybe 80 square meters they have completed. Now, when you see like 4 or 5 people or whatever the number of people they have used, what is the skilled, what is the semi-skilled and unskilled employed there, try to divide that with the area of this. You will come to know what is per team's contribution in terms of square meter. So 80 divided by certain numbers, you will get one team has contributed around 10 square meters of tile per day. So this is what productivity ratio is, and this varies from item to item.
Okay, so I have one more question.
Yeah.
At what stage we are going to use BIM, CostX, Canly softwares in QS?
What
At what
stages
stage
you
we
are
are going?
asking?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, it will be used right from the inception stage also. The level of detail only is going to change. See, of course, like quantification, like cost X and all, they'll not do at inception stages, but the moment concept stage of a building starts, they'll start to use these softwares. But BIM and all nowadays they have started to use at concept stage or early concept stages also. But again that it keeps changing. The level of detail will vary across the stages. That's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, from
Now,
my side, one last question.
Yeah.
What's the difficulties we face in design build projects rather than drawing based projects?
It's actually a very good question. It's called item rate projects, drawing based projects, what you refer as. So in design build project, the difficulty is understanding the entire items or scope of the project. That is very challenging. Even though we provide a lot of data, even though we provide a lot of information at the start of the project, a contractor will also be in a hurry to take the project. So what he may think is, let me just quote something, take this project, and later we can see. That approach will be there. So you need to bind them contractually. You need to help them understand this is what the requirement of the project. Have you considered ABCs of this project or not? So that is the biggest challenge in terms of a design build project compared to item rate. In item rate, it's very simple. Like whatever we give, there is a rate which is approved in the BOQ. You just go execute the work, get the agreed rate, get your thing done and dusted. Simple. In design and build, how good they have understood the project scope, how good they have understood the project's complexity, how good they have understood the project's intent in terms of material, finishes, site construction methodology, everything. That is a challenge. That is the biggest challenge in our market specifically.
now I think we can wind up the session as the time is running out.
I see Siva has raised
Shiva has
maybe
some
that's the last question we can take.
You can ask
Okay.
one last question. This will be.
Hi, sir. Myself Shiva.
Yeah.
Sir, which type of contract is effective for the both client and contract, which is the item rate one, which is the lump sum one, sir?
See, it's very difficult to say in one word. It aligns with suppose if I have a client who is using a design which is already existing with them. They may have some design standards for certain organizations. This is the color we need to use. This is the metal we need to use. This is the material we need to use. There are standards for certain organizations. If a client is very clear about certain specific things about that, and if a client is very much sure of what is the expectation out of the project, then it is advisable to go with a lump sum project because the scope is clear. If a client is not clear, suppose if a client is a newcomer to the industry, they are just doing their first project in Hyderabad or perhaps in India, in such cases, I would not advise them to go with a lump sum project because they are unclear what is the requirement there. In such cases, we may need to advise them based on the item rate contract. So it is specific to the client, specific to the project's objective also.
Okay. So one more thing, how EBM is effective for the building as well?
How?
EBM, earning value
Earn
method.
value, right?
Yeah.
The earn value in a nutshell, I would say, you can earn value is like a master health report for a project. Okay, if there is a time, there is a cost, right? If a curve which we have planned is aligning to the curve which is getting executed at site, in a nutshell, it gives the information. Okay, the project is in good health. If we see there is a difference between these, there are issues, and then it is easy for a higher man. It's basically a top level management report. EVM is. So when you go to executive level team members, you don't have time to show them exactly where the project is and all. In such places, you can show a EVM to them, tell them like this is what the analysis is. The project is in good health, and if they see the project is in not good health, it can be found in a graph, and there you can strategize how to bring back that into a good health state. So this is what the contribution of EVM or EVA into a project.
No, sir. Actually, in present project, they are using the planning percentage also using for the EVM as well as the per building also we are using EVM only.
It is good if they are using it, but doing EVM at a at a root
No, sir.
level.
As a building engineer, what I face a difficulty when I'm matching with the progress quantity. The progress quantity percentage may be 90 or 80 somewhere, but I cannot achieve that percentage to the billing purpose because of we have some
Yeah.
documentation to
Yes.
enter the
Yes.
quantities in the EBM. So I cannot
Yes.
enter the until unless the documentation done. But in progress purpose, this
Yes.
is different. That once it's done, also they can put in the progress and they'll show that is as the work has done as a progress. But when
Yes.
as a contractor, our management will ask that when progress is as per EVM, as the progress is more than that, why our billing team is not able to achieve the same progress in the billing
Correct.
terms also.
See,
So this is the
that's
thing.
why when we were
We are facing the issue.
that's why when we were giving such reports, what do we do is we also try to estimate the cost of work in progress. We may not be able to integrate that along with the EVM because it speaks about what is completed. We may also give a projection of what is the work in progress and what is the cost of this work in progress. So this will be a separate report. We will take the EVM's analysis plus this work in progress cost, which we will evaluate, and then we will try to show them whether it is aligned or not. Of course, without work in progress, it will not align. But we have to keep that as a separate report, and that is a challenge. That is a difficulty. It's also a matter of how well people understand, in your team also.
Actually, one of my project is here, HYD01 is a data center. Is the thing we are facing as a contractor thing.
Maybe you can think of
Here also
evaluating your work in progress, and you can try to show that as a separate report on top of that, which may help to address this issue.
So EVM is good for the building. Is the thing I am my main concern.
Of course, it is good.
Okay. But when the scope is continuously changing, automatically EVM quantities will need to change.
Of course, you need
Otherwise,
to update it. True.
Again, the productive hours and the man hours is need to decrease, no, sir.
True.
So always keep going changing, no.
See,
It will
what
take
will happen is that's
whole
why
graph and
when they
everything is
do such
affecting.
analysis, they will have a baseline analysis, which is the base scope, base timeline, base cost. And anything which is going on top of that, they will keep as a separate analysis. So it's ideal to compare if there are a lot of changes, it's ideal to do that EVM or EVA only for the base scope, schedule, base scope, and base cost, which is agreed at the time of award of contract. And later when things are changing, that has to be documented separately. If you put that part of this, again, graphs will go here and there. You cannot, control.
Yes. That's what you have so many PD and so many COs are happening. So that client, some people are asking include that quantity is also in that. And as a country, we are not okay to include that quantity because of growth will down and the automatically percentage will go down.
Correct.
So we are this kind of situations they are facing actually right now. The thing, yes, this is the one I want to share with you. One of different what we are facing through
Thanks
EV.
for that. We're running late. I think it's almost 4 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
So firstly, I would like to thank you for sharing these insights, sir. And we are impressed and completely fall in love with PPT preparation, sir.
Oh, thank you so much.
And we are hoping for the future webinars also.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us, and thank you, sir, especially for taking time. And for the first time when I asked, you said directly yes. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Vinay brother and Vikram sir, for giving platform also.
Yeah, I would like to thank everyone who joined today and spent time in learning QS. And I would like to thank Anbu sir for giving us time and expertise, sharing your expertise. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So it's my privilege to be part of this community and to have this session. Looking forward to more sessions. We can slightly get the people feedback and try to develop this further. Thanks everyone who has attended and spared time on this Saturday. Thank you, Vinay. Thank you, Satish, for bridging me on this. See you all soon.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you.
One screenshot, sir.
Yeah.
Everyone, please on your.
Everyone, please turn on your cameras. Let's take a snapshot, and we will wind up.
I think I should stop screen sharing.
Is it okay now?
Sir, can you please stop your screen sharing?
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, done. Yeah, everyone please on the camera so that we can take a snapshot. Yeah, done.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. See you all soon in a good place again. Thank you.